You are what you do every single day. This applies both to your life overall and of course to your chess improvement. If you want to improve your chess, you absolutely have to carefully look at what you do about it every single day. In this video, I'm gonna share with you what I do to improve my chess to save you years of painful experience of being stuck at the same level. What's up, chess player, and welcome to the Journey to Grandmaster, the place where you can improve every single aspect of your chess game. And today we talk about chess routine stuff that you absolutely need to do as often as possible in the best case scenario every day. But I understand we all have life, a lot of stuff to do. Even me, I can't, even though that's currently more or less my whole professional life, I cannot physically train every day in every situation, but I try to. So it's important to focus on the right stuff, especially because you don't have all the time in the world. Because if you are just sitting and playing the bullet chess without even analyzing, oh, well, yeah, there is no point to analyze the bullet games. Anyway, it's really making a huge difference whether you sit and focus on the high quality puzzle, which I'm going to present to you today, and that improves your chess ability a lot, or you are watching a video on YouTube which is not useful for you at all, not like this one, because in this one I'm going to do my best first of all to provide you with useful information as well as to make you think on your own, because that is what's really important. Even if you have the best chess college in the world, it's not going to help you at all if you're not going to put your mind, your focus, your time and energy into improving your chess, into learning, into practicing. According to basically every single one top coach in the world that I know, according to my personal experience, both learning chess for 20 years as well as coaching for 8 years, there are two things in chess that are the most efficient for your improvement. The first one is analyzing your own games, trying to understand your mistakes, and the second one is practicing solving some chess positions. In this video, we are gonna focus on the second one. I talk a lot about my games, I analyze it together with you, I have a lot of videos about that, but here I want to take a high quality puzzle. I'm gonna talk in a second why it's so important to take a high quality puzzle instead of a random one, and I try to intensely focus, it's called deliberate practice, on it so that I improve my chess. And I wish you the same. I hope you're gonna do it with me together. So first of all, what I mean by high quality puzzle. It means not a random position from the chess.com puzzle rush, for example, but you're grabbing a tactics book or calculation book or some high quality chess book from a respective author, and there are some training positions that you can take, put it on your chessboard. By the way, I always recommend you train with the chessboard. It of course depends on your goal. Like if you want to become a great online chess player like Joe Spam, Jose Martinez, then of course you don't need a real board, you can just do everything on your computer. If however you want to become a strong chess player on a real 3D board, then I highly encourage you to always take a real chessboard to train. For example, this Chestnut Evo board is a perfect one for you, more on that later on, but just in general, it's important that you have real pieces in front of you so you can look at it, focus, and solve some puzzles. Now let's try to solve this puzzle together. I'm gonna show you real time how I do it so that you can do the same. I have multiple videos in this series so you can train together with me. You don't even need to look for a book. I already have done it for you so that you can just enjoy, and then you not only do it yourself, you then can compare your decision-making process, your thought process. It's so important. It just differentiates a weak chess player from a strong one, what we focus on during a chess game, what we think about trying to find the best move, so that you can solve the position yourself and then you can compare it with my solution, with my thought process. Of course, I'm not perfect, but I'm quite experienced, quite a high-rated player, so hopefully that would be very helpful for you. So, the position, it's black to move. I encourage you to pause the video for a second before I say any words about it and how I try to solve it. Just feel free to pause the video for a second here and think about the best continuation for black. And remember, it shouldn't be just one move. This is the difference of a high quality chess puzzle. It's almost never just one move. You really need to calculate those variations. think about your opponent's opportunities, not just guess the move. That doesn't improve your level here. If you are just trying to guess that the best move here is, I don't know, king to g6, how on earth would that improve you? If you really think about what you can do, then what your opponent can do, then what you can do against what your opponent can do, and so on, think about strategy and all the stuff, then you can actually improve if you do it consistently. Okay, I have talked enough. Black to move, pause the video. Good luck. Alright, I hope you have taken at least 5 to 10 minutes to think about this position. Now it's my turn. So I'm playing as black. First of all, the first step is always to evaluate the position. What's going on? Because, well, chess is a problem-solving game, right? So first step is to understand what is actually a problem. Do we try to save the game? Do we try to win the game? What is happening here? So we both have rook and bishop. And the bishops are of the same color, but as I see here, we are a pawn down. That is quite unfortunate. So I also see that white is creating threat. So the first question is just to understand what is going on in the position, like the material balance, whether we are up or down or equal. The second step is to look at what your opponent can do. Remember, we never play chess alone, and so many low-rated players, like basically everyone under 2000, don't think enough about their opponent's ideas. I struggle, for example, with it a lot myself, even though I constantly think like it's so important, it's my weakness in chess, not noticing the opponent's counterplay. I constantly think about it during the game, yet I still miss so much, and that is probably one of the main reasons I lose at chess, so I try to improve it. So very important. Here, it's rather obvious that the rook wants to take on f5 here, but what is a little bit less obvious, this bishop on h6, it's actually not such a great piece. Yes, it's protecting the pawn on f4, but it doesn't have a lot of squares to go. That might be a factor. In fact, right now it has only the move bishop to g5, which is also not that great because white is going to lose a pawn in this case. So there are some difficulties. The king is pretty good on d3, it's centralized, it's protecting the c2 pawn, it's ready to go forward if needed. Okay, so now let's try to think about our moves. The threat is rook takes f5. Maybe we can create a counter threat. Maybe we can defend it. Let's see what's going on. First of all, I really want to think a little bit more about this move, rook takes f5. Is it really a threat? This is something low-rated players almost never do. They automatically see, okay, my opponent is attacking the pawn, so I have to do something about it. But you have to be more flexible than that. You really have to think whether the threat that you think is a threat is an actual threat. It's a huge, huge difference. So many of my students, when they make some incredibly weird moves that I can never explain, I ask them, why on earth do you make this move? And the answer is, well, because my opponent wants to do that and I want to defend against that. And then I'm asking, are you sure that your opponent can actually do that? And then we start thinking about it, calculating the variations. It turns out this threat absolutely does not exist. And this is a pity because then it seems like you're making an absolutely useless move instead of making something useful for yourself. So please do not do that mistake. Always check whether it's an actual threat and it's actually dangerous for you. The reason why I'm saying all of that is because I think rook takes f5 is no threat for me because I play king to g6 and then I'm attacking both the bishop and the knight, and I don't see any way to save both of the pieces. And also no counter threats because all of my pieces are protected there. So rook takes f5 is not a threat. Then the question is what I can do. What could be great for me? Because like I said, this bishop on g6 has on h6, sorry, has no real moves to go. On the other hand, if I play king to g6, then the f8 square becomes available for the bishop. In that case, however, the f4 pawn is hanging. But bishop f8 is not the only move, and that's another mistake so many players are making. They're not really thinking about all of the moves of their opponents, and they're not starting with the most active moves. This is like the biggest mistake you can make. So king to g6, you're attacking the bishop, but it's not checkers. It doesn't mean that your opponent must immediately go away with the bishop. No, maybe he has something active. And what is the most active? Well, always start with checks, captures, and threats. After king to g6, there is the move rook e6 check, and I don't really see anything great for me. I can play king h5 or something, but remember I'm a pawn down. So if I don't do anything active here, I'm not gonna succeed. Okay, checks, captures, and threats. Of course, you should do it both for yourself and for your opponent. So maybe I have some checks. Not really. Rook g3 is the only possible check at all, but that just blunders rook. No good continuation afterwards, so I dismiss it. Captures, rook takes f4 is the only capture, but also just blundering the rook. No good continuations afterwards, so I dismiss it. The next step is to create some threats. Well, the threat could be to attack either the rook or the bishop or one of the pawns. And of course, you always start with the biggest one. So bishop to f6, that would be a threat here. And remember that I still want to play king to g6. So that's a good question whether I need to include the bishop f6 before doing that or not. Also, in case of rook takes f5, once again I have the move king to g6, and the problem for white is I'm attacking the rook. If the rook goes away, then it's no longer attacking the f6 pawn, f6 bishop, sorry, I can just grab the bishop. If it takes on f6, yes, he has 2 pawns, but you know, I have an active king, I have an active rook, I guess it's only black who can play for a win there. h2 is also very weak, and once I win h2 pawn, I have a passer, which would basically win the game for me. So that's not something I should be afraid of. But what if after bishop f6, rook takes f5, king g6? Yeah, king f4, king f4. I thought there was something that white can try here. So g4, because now the rook is protected. Of course, I would be happy to like give a check. Maybe I just go away, like rook g1. Now the rook cannot escape because the bishop would be hanging, and if the bishop escapes, like bishop g5, very reasonable, then I have this check rook e1, the king has to go away, and then I win the rook. Yeah, I think after bishop f6 you cannot take on f5. Just loses tactically. Then the rook has to go somewhere else, let's say to c5. Now if I play king to g6, still you can play bishop f8, right? Then I can take on f4, the pawns are equal. My opponent can play something like rook c7 and attack my b7 pawn. I don't think that I'm necessarily better there. Okay, bishop f6, rook c5. Do I have any improvement? If I play rook h4, for example, then f8 is not available for my opponent, but he can play something like rook c7 check. Now I cannot play bishop e7 because of bishop g5. And if I play king g6, then once again bishop to f8. Maybe it's no, it's not really an improved version. My b7 pawn is hanging. Okay, bishop f6, rook c5. Rook g6, once again rook c7 check. Not like it's hugely helping me. What else can I do? Like this bishop, strictly speaking, it's never completely lost because he can always play bishop g5, and all that happens, he's just losing a pawn back. But he has an extra pawn, so not like a huge problem for him. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to play for a win here, but I'm not sure how. And that's a challenge, of course. That's why you solve such positions. That's why you should have such trainings in your daily routine, so that later on when you get such a position, of course, you're not gonna get this exact position in your chess game, but some position where you need to solve some problems, which is basically every chess position, and then this skill of sitting there, of deliberate practice, of focusing on the chess position and understanding what your opponent wants to do, what you should do, finding the right move, all of that would be much simpler for you if you do that during your training. This video is brought to you by Chestnut. Chestnut is making amazing chessboards that allow you to play online from a real 3D board. They have high quality chessboards, nice looking chess pieces, so that you can enjoy and having fun playing it. Chestnut boards also have so many training functions that I absolutely love to use to my training, and it helps me to improve my chess every day. This is, for example, Chestnut Evo. I love to use it for my trainings, but they have so much to offer you depending on your preferences and your budget. And the best part is you can just use the promo code Journey to Grandmaster or click the link in the description to get a big discount on all of the Chestnut products. If I start with king g6, rook e6 check and bishop f6, yeah, still doesn't work. Bishop g5, I'm just losing actually. Not sure what I'm supposed to do here. I think that my best chance is this bishop on h6. Maybe. Yeah, I thought that when the bishop goes to h4, to g5, sorry, I can play h6 somehow and attack it. But I don't think it's ever possible, because if my bishop leaves this diagonal, then white's bishop will have this diagonal up to d8, some squares to go, no problems. Still seems like bishop f6 is the best move. So bishop f6, rook c5, king to g6. Bishop, yeah, there are two moves, bishop g5 and bishop f8. Bishop g5, takes, king takes. I think that should be better for me, because I already have a passer, which is pretty advanced. But on the other hand, my opponent plays rook to c7, and then all of those pawns are hanging. I know, that's quite tough here. Okay, I think that bishop to f6 must be the right move. I like this little detail that rook f5, king g6, king e4 is not possible because of rook g1 and rook e1. And if rook goes to c5, I think I should play rook h4. I feel like that is the most active move, because we create a double attack on the bishop and the pawn. And yes, of course, white can play rook c7 check, but we just play king g6. And then if you go to f8, basically the same thing happens. We win there the h2 pawn and the f7 pawn. So case of bishop f7, not f8, not really. Need to choose. We take on f4, for example, rook takes b7. Yeah, it's not like we are winning a lot. And then maybe we do need to play king g6. So bishop f6, rook c5, king g6. So that now bishop f8, we basically win a tempo. And if bishop g5, then we take it, pawn takes, king g5, rook c7, rook h4, rook b7, rook h2. And then we push our pawn all the way through. And because we have two passers, and because we have a distant passer on the H file, and the king supports it, I think we are gonna have better chances to win the game. Although that's still a huge race. I mean, it's almost impossible to calculate to the end, but I think that is the best chance for black. Let's compare it with the right solution. All right, see. I would have been okay after the normal rook g2, but found a nice little trap. That's what the author, Jakob Agard, writes here. It was his game. Bishop f6, that is the best move. Now rook takes f5 is a mistake. I was a bit shocked that he fell for it. Okay, white actually played it, which explains why I did not make more out of the situation later on. King to g6, king goes to e4, and exactly rook to g1. He had missed this move. Yeah, now we have an extra exchange, and of course it's still some work to do to win this game, but it's clear that black is in the driver's seat. White has no active counterplay. This bishop is not great. This ending is winning, but I decided to secure a draw with h6 offering at the same time. I would say I was not emotionally prepared for the turn of luck in a game against a player I respect immensely and where I had been a pawn down earlier on. That is a very interesting approach. I mean, I'm like never like that. I never offer a draw, and if I have luck, like I was completely losing and suddenly I have a chance to win, then I'm even more motivated, because I think if I have already managed to kind of save this position, I know I cannot lose, then of course I want to play on and even win it. I had quite a lot of nice comebacks like that. Anyway, that was the right solution here, bishop to f6. Let me know in the comments if you have found it and what was your thinking process throughout this puzzle. And that is definitely what I recommend you to do on a consistent basis. Once again, you just pick one of the videos on this channel. I have so many where I give you a high quality puzzle. I go through it alone with you and explain you my entire decision making process so you can compare it. So you can basically use this channel as your way of daily routine so that you constantly improve your chess. Imagine how cool it would be to play chess without ever having opening troubles again. What if I told you I could teach you all openings you will ever need in just 10 days? You get lifetime access to more than 110 pure value video tutorials, almost 100 practical tasks to apply your knowledge immediately into practice, 30 plus bonus videos to dive 10 times deeper, as well as private community where all questions you might ever have are answered daily. Get a $200 limited time discount with the link in the description and forget about all opening pain once and for all. Now in this video there is a fantastic puzzle that I want you to try to solve with me, very useful. Definitely take a look at it.